of business is everybody should be looking at, what am I going to put up here? Everybody should be looking at my drive. I'm sure there are a couple of you that are still seeing my face and you're not looking at my drive. I'm going to show you how to do that. And if you do use Hangouts with students, somebody's going to have this problem too. So if you're presenting your screen and somebody says, oh, I'm not seeing your screen, just do what I'm going to show you now. I'm going to move my drive out of there. And excuse me, in the people, the little silhouette of a person with the 68 next to it, this is where you would see all of your students who are logged in. And whoever is presenting their screen, in this case me, you see two of me. You see two of me. Okay. If you weren't seeing my drive before, click on the icon next to where it's my name with your presentation. Okay. If you're still seeing my face, click on the icon next to where it says your presentation. And while I'm in here, please don't click on the mute me symbol. You can, I believe anybody in the Hangout can mute anybody else, basically. And if you do that to me and I don't notice it, then I'll just be talking to myself. Okay. Another thing is I am going to show you, this isn't about Hangouts, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but my toolbar at the bottom is the Hangout toolbar. And one of the options in there is recording. I am recording this for, hopefully we'll send out at least one working link to a Hangouts Wevideo session. Please don't click on stop recording. Anybody, just like anybody in the Hangout can mute anybody else, anybody in the Hangout can also stop the recording. And we want to have this recorded. So please don't click on that. And also, if you're doing this with students, you might want to mention to them that they shouldn't do that. Okay. First thing is attendance is in there. I am going to, if some of you might have this link, I'm going to drop another link in the chat window. Mainly for future reference. So the link that I just put in at 6:34, it is this document, and there's just a couple things on here. It tells you how to access Wi-Fi from outside certain buildings. During the course of the day, a lot of our policies have been changed. You won't need to update your password if your network password if you're near the 6-month mark. You can install your home printer on your computer. I believe that one you need to connect to the district Wi-Fi. There's an IC report that I'll mention in a minute. That one you no longer need to connect to district Wi-Fi. But at the top of this document, just because I had no other place to put it a minute ago, are 3 links. These are recorded Hangouts that we've already done, Classroom, Edpuzzle, and Wevideo. Hopefully we're going to have a Hangout link. And if we do another Remind session, we'll have a Remind session. Somebody is doing Google Forms tomorrow. Anytime we do a new type of session, we're recording them, and they'll be pushed out. Probably not on this document. Like I said, I just threw them in here because I had them and I was running short on time. Okay. The next, and again, I think a lot of you have seen this. Next document going in the chat window is an IC document. That document has lots of information on IC. This particular, in the available report section, at the top of page 2, there is, this is a very short video showing you how to copy all of your student email addresses in one quick copy from IC. If you are going to be emailing your students or getting them to join Google Classroom or inviting them to a Hangout, Nobody wants to type in 30 student email addresses one at a time. You can use the method in this video here, and you can get each section, you can get all of them at one go. And I would probably just save the email addresses on a document somewhere so you don't have to keep going back to the report. We've been told, Raquel, did you test out the report? This used to be only it used to be only in our network that you could run this report, but I think late this afternoon somebody changed something and you might be able to run this report from home. Raquel, did you
I
test
did
that out?
test it. One of them worked. There's two. There's the student email roster and then the email grid. The grid, I think, did not work, and I don't know if maybe they were working on it at that time. Okay, good. So it's the roster one did work.
Yeah, the student email roster by section or something like that. I
Yeah.
think that's the important one. And in that same report, there is a drop down that will show you the legal guardians for the students in your class also, if for some reason you need a list of the legal guardians. And I believe that list, they are actually the legal guardians. It's not just parents or grandparents or other contexts in IC. I think they're actually the legal guardians. Excuse me. Go ahead.
There's a question about, will parent students see the emails of other parent students if we use this? I guess it depends on how you're sending emails. If you just put it, if you drop it in the email, then yes, everyone's going to see it. If you do like a blind copy, they won't see each other's email.
Correct. Or if who knows how the next couple months is going to look, but if you're going to be doing this often, I might make a contact group. I think it's called a label now. Might make a contact group, one for each of my sections. And I think, Raquel, correct me if I'm wrong, I think if you just email the group, can that be expanded so everybody sees who's in the group? I want to say it can't, but I might be wrong.
It's been a while. Let me quick double check.
Okay, we'll check back on that. I am going to drop one more link, and then we'll actually get started on Wevideo stuff, I think. One more link. Go ahead.
If I create the group, like if I'm doing it through the one group way, I can see all the people that's in it, at least when I send it. I assume that, and yes, actually, no, if you create the group, yes, everyone can see it that way. So if you don't want others to see, I would do the blind copy then.
Okay. Yep. Blind copy sounds like the way to go if you're concerned about that. This last link I'm going to second to the last link I'm going to throw in there is a dashboard that we just started working on last week when this all started to come down. There are a lot of resources in there, and this is sort of a living document. I think I see a couple things that weren't in there before. So we will be adding to this. There is a Wevideo section in here. And again, we have that first link I shared with you had those 3 video links at the very top. One of them is Wevideo. I forgot to mention that video. Google is still processing it. Raquel just told me for some strange reason, Google is experiencing a high volume of uploads and downloads and video processing. So the link is there, but it's not ready to be viewed. We're hoping by tomorrow morning Google will be caught up and that video will work. If not, we're recording this session too. So at some point, we will have all these videos. Okay. I am actually ready to start Wevideo stuff. Any questions that need attention? Okay. All right. So, Wevideo, and I told you before I was going to drop the second to the last link in there. Here comes the last link. I don't mess this up. Here's probably for tonight. Here's the last and most important link. It is the directions on how you tonight and your students or colleagues, if you use this with colleagues, how you're going to get into your Wevideo account I know there are at least a couple of you that probably signed up and have a free Wevideo account. You really want to be in the subscription that we pay for. The free one is fairly limited. This subscription we pay for it's you need to be in it. We pay for it for a good reason. If you click on that document, it brings you to these directions. If you have been in Wevideo and if you do this with students, you're gonna want to tell them the same thing that I'm telling you now. If you have been in Wevideo, even if it's like a year or two in the past, you probably have an account. You're gonna follow the left side of this document. If you are brand new to Wevideo, you're gonna follow the right side of this document. There isn't a whole, I'm not sure there's a difference actually. This login procedure seems to change a lot. So what I want you to do now is go ahead and click on that link in the top of the directions. If you have an account, you're going to click on join with an existing. If you're sure you don't have an account with Wevideo, click on join with a new account. And I believe it's on the next screen. You're going to see an option to sign in with Google. I'm assuming everybody has a Google product open on their laptop, on their school laptop. Your school Google account is open. Go ahead and click on the sign in with Google option. And let me get into Wevideo, and then we'll find a holding place where we're going to let everybody get caught up. If I could click right. Well, this is certainly being odd. Okay, not going to do it that way. So what I want you to do is go through the process of signing in or setting up your account in Wevideo, and then you will get to a screen that looks something like this. I'm going to hold here for a minute and see how the questions go. And once everybody's on here, then, excuse me. Ooh, Raquel, there's no questions. That's a good sign. All right. Wish I could see everybody's screen. Allison's got a thumbs up.
Someone just asked about, Pam's comment there.
Not sure how to sign into Wevideo. Where did the screen go? I think I'm not quite sure where we're starting. Let me dump this. Who was that? Pamela? If you can click on this document, I just posted at 6:46. And then left side, if you already had an account at Wevideo of some sort. Right side if you're brand new. You click on the link that says here, and then you choose new account or existing account. And I think the next screen you can sign in with Google. All right. Nobody's seeing. I think all the comments in the chat window look good. So I'm going to continue here. One thing I do want to make sure, if you're seeing a screen that looks exactly like this, make sure, probably the easiest number, in one of these circles, make sure the bottom number is like astronomical. For example, gigabytes, 150,000 gigabytes. What I want you to do is check to see if you actually in our account or if you're in a free one from maybe a year or two ago. Another way to do that is, like every web-based resource, you should see your profile picture or initial in the top right corner. If you click on that and go to account settings, you should see your name and it should say Wevideo school plan, and it'll mention GBAPS. Okay. If there is anybody that doesn't have the Green Bay school plan mentioned, then you're in like a trial or personal account and you need to go through those directions again and join with an existing account and log in with Google. All right. Did that throw anybody in the chat window? Mine, Tim, if yours is blank on the left, Jackie, Jane, go to your profile picture in the top right corner and click on it, and then account settings, and see if it says member of a school plan in Green Bay Area Public Schools. Raquel, there's probably more to Jackie, Tim, Christine. Can you chat with them and have them go through the directions and sign in with Google for an existing account, I guess it would be at that point? Please, I should say. Okay, so most of us are in here. The most confusing thing about Wevideo is the two words they choose. When right here it says create a new edit, all that means is create a new video. Okay. And we're going to do that in a second. And it's going to ask you what project do you want to put in? And all that means is what folder do you want to put it in? Okay. Edits are videos, projects are folders. Later on, we'll get to exports. Okay. So for those of you that are here, and Raquel, if you think I'm going too fast, you want to just unmute and tell me to slow down or stop. For those of you that are here, we want to create new edit. We're going to click on that. This is how you're going to start every new video. All this screen is asking you is what folder do you want to put it in? Okay. And even if you haven't used Wevideo very much, you probably have folders that people have shared with you. One of my favorites in here is something about Cheerios. I don't have the slightest idea where it came from. Frosted Cheerios, because why not have a folder named that? Honestly, I would stay out of the shared folders if you have any of those. I don't use Wevideo 5 times a day, so I don't really care what folder I put my videos in. When I make a video, I make it, I export it, I get the video file, and then I'm done with it. So my default, just because it's the first one that pops up, is class flow. I think that's a folder I used like 2 years ago to make something for a different product. Everybody, if you're a brand new user, you should have a My Projects folder. That's a good place to put things too, I think. Okay. The lesson here is don't waste time picking a folder. Just put it wherever. I'm going to click on Start Editing. And then we should all land at this. And I'm going to hold here for a minute. Go
We've
ahead.
got a couple questions that I'm not quite following some of them. I'm hoping we can.
Okay. This is a good holding point. Everybody else try to work to get to here, and then we'll come back to it. What are the questions?
So Jennifer's, I'm not sure what plan she's trying to get to.
What do I do when I get to the choose plan screen? Oh. Jennifer, what I would do is, I would close the tab. I would start with that direction sheet I linked. And I don't know if you chose a new account or an existing account. I would probably try the other one. And I think, I don't know, do you have any idea if she logged in or tried logging in with Google?
She said down below, she does say, when I logged on using Google, it asked what plan I am using. So Jennifer, did you go through the link that Tom shared out to get you using the paid Wevideo? Try both sides of the dock.
It also might is sometimes if she has another Google account going on there.
Yeah.
All right, Lauren. Yes, there is a way to create more folders. And if you do a lot with Wevideo, you're going to want to do that. I will see if I can remember how to do that. In all honesty, projects are folders. So if I click on projects along the top and I click on the little blue plus sign in the bottom right corner, I think that's how you create a new folder. Okay.
Yeah. If you go right to dashboard and do a blank edit, I don't think you're going to be able to create a folder name there. You would have to do it ahead of time. And I'm thinking that's what a couple of those questions are.
Yeah. Okay. So where was I? We were here. We put it in we chose a folder. Now, if your screen looks a little bit like this, actually, let me just show you. If your screen looks like this and you don't have those horizontal video and audio tracks along the bottom, the timeline that's called, you're in storyboard mode. Okay, and the way to switch to the other mode, which we're going to use, is the 3 horizontal bars, top left corner, and you'll see at the bottom, switch to timeline. I've never actually used storyboard. It's just timeline. Timeline is very similar to iMovie, and I think that's where I started my video editing. So hopefully we're all at this point. No, we are not. Okay. Raquel, should I slow down a bit here?
I think you're going at an okay spot, but Jacqueline, I'm not sure. You know, I mean, I've used this regularly as well, so I guess I'm not sure what part we're getting stuck at. So if we could have some more people pop in and tell us what Tom should go over again, so we can figure out where we're getting stuck.
Okay. Somebody just said the timeline thing. If your screen, if you have audio 1, video 1, video 2, if you have 2 or 3 horizontal tracks down here, you're in timeline, and that's where you want to be.
To navigate back to your dashboard, that's where it looks like a couple of them are saying that they were trying to find their account and they're not understanding how you got back or to this even editing the screen. So those of you who are commenting on that, no matter where you're at, if you click on dashboard across the top, that's going to take you kind of back to your very beginning page. And so this is where we can see those circles again. We can see edits, recent edits, and you have all those different options across the top there. And so then, Tom, if you want to go back through that step, hopefully that will help.
I'm going to click on create a new edit. And choose whatever folder you want to put it in. And then once you get into timeline mode, I think it'll always bring you here, but for some reason, first time, sometimes it puts people in storyboard. If you don't have these 2 or 3 horizontal audio and video tracks along the bottom, look for the 3 horizontal bars, top left, click on it. And at the very bottom, you'll see switch to timeline. And that'll get you to the place where your screen looks like my screen. Okay. I think most of the comments, Jane, 2 minutes ago, I think most of the comments here look positive now. Jane's in, good. Okay, so this screen, there are three main parts here. Top left, this is like your library of different media that you can build a video with. In your library, you can have pictures, you can have videos, you can have audio files. Okay, and we're going to come back here in a minute. To the right of that is your preview window. When you start building a video, you can move the play bar and press play, and you'll see what your video would look like if you finished it right then. Okay. And down below, the timeline is it's the place where you actually construct your video with all the little different pieces and components. Okay. So scrolling up here a little bit, we are in the stock media section. All these things, like, I don't know, Crocodile Dundee or whoever that is. This is not my stuff. This is stuff Wevideo just sticks in there, and probably just so you can play around with it the first time. Down the road, you're going to be creating your own media, and you will find your own media next to stock media where it says My Media. And we're going to come to this in a little while. You're going to either import it or record it. And then everything that you make, all the components that you make, will be in here, and you can build your video out of your stuff. And we're going to come here in a little bit. But for now, because I know there's a lot of people that they don't have content available already. They don't have pictures and videos and audio files saved on their laptop. So for now, if you don't have media available to use, stay in the stock media. Okay. Right here in the search bar underneath where it says stock media, it's showing you all different kinds of media, which is videos and pictures, and there might even be an audio file in there. I'm not sure. If you click on where it says all and then choose images, we're going to do something with pictures first. Making a slideshow is a common thing that people start with in Wevideo. So here I've got 7 stock pictures that Wevideo gave us. Wevideo is very simple. It's just drag and drop. Like, I decide for some reason this talking cactus speaks to me. I want to use this picture in my video. So I'm going to click and hold down on it, and I'm going to drag it down to the video 1 track. It actually doesn't matter if you use video 1 or video 2, but just because that's the way I am. I'm going to put it in the video 1 track. Okay. And this little blue bar here is your play bar. It shows you, well, it's a picture, so nothing changes, but it shows you where you are. It shows you in the preview window where that play bar is. Okay. I am going to drag down, I don't know what the deal is with all these cactuses, but I'm going to drag another picture down to the same track. Okay. Now, a very simple thing that you may end up doing, and students will do if you let students use this for projects. Raquel and I think all of us integrators, we've done this down into, I think my lowest grade level was 3rd grade. So this is something that kids are very capable of doing. One of the most common things is find 7 pictures on westward expansion, put them in a timeline, and do a voiceover. Okay. Well, you would record the voiceover, and if you're a PowerPoint user, you know how hard it is to time your voiceover to the length of the slide or adjust the length of the slide to the voiceover. This is super simple. You would record your voice, you would put it underneath in the audio track, and then to make the picture last as long as the voiceover describing it, you click on it so it's got an orange box around it. You go to the right margin or left if it's somewhere else in the timeline. Click and hold down, and you drag it to last as long as your voiceover does. Okay. My second picture, if that's a longer, I talked about that one longer, I would drag it to last. Okay. Working with pictures is very simple. You can make them stay on screen as long or as short as you want just by clicking them and stretching them out. I will say this, the first, if you have more than one picture, I can't stretch this first one out. I have to move the second one over to make room for it. And then I can bring the second one back in and put it up tight against it. Okay. Um, this is pictures. Now what we're going to do, we're going to do a video, or we're going to find some video. So I go back up to this search bar where it says images now, and I'm going to choose videos. And 15 seconds is long enough. The Grand Canyon. Same thing, drag and drop. Click on it, drag it down, and put it wherever you want. If you don't like the order of your pictures, everything is drag and drop. You can just move them around. It's very simple. Okay. And now this play bar, if you want, you set it wherever you want to see. Like if you want to watch what you've got from the beginning, set it at the beginning, press play, and well, I'm not going to wait for a minute here. It'll progress through whatever you got. Okay. If you wanna add transitions and you want to see what they look like, I would put the play bar near the end of one content piece, press play, and then see what the transition to the next one looks like. I don't have transitions in here. I'm going to do one more thing with this video, and then we're going to hold for questions. Okay. You can stretch out a picture to last on screen as long as you want. A video, you can't do that. However long it was when it's recorded, you can't make new video with it. Very often, especially the first couple times, you'll start recording a video, and you'll have a coughing fit, or somebody will walk through in the background and make noise. Don't worry about it. Don't stop and then restart. Just keep going, because you can always cut that stuff out. Like, let's say, for example, this video of the Grand Canyon. Pretend it's me talking, and pretend I had like a coughing fit in the first 10 seconds. I would take my play button, and if I'd mouse very slowly with it, and I would find, you got to use your imagination. I'm not the Grand Canyon. I would find the place where I stopped coughing. I would leave the play bar there and click on the scissors that's in the play bar. When I click on that, it might be hard to see, but it's actually cut my clip into two pieces. I select in the orange box, I select the piece that has my coughing fit, and I hit the delete button, and then I move the remaining part of the video over, and it's like it was never there. Okay. So we're going to hold here for a second. If hopefully you had a chance to, whether you're using stock content or your own content, you're able to put a couple pictures in, you stretch them out, put a video of some sort in, and just split it somewhere and delete part of it. You're not harming the original video, by the way. It's only in here. The original, wherever this video up here, I didn't touch that. It's still the exact way it was. Okay. Let's see how questions are going. Go ahead, Raquel.
So why would you need two video bars? So I just want to touch on that a little bit more. I did respond in the text. I would like to say two video lines often for me is not enough, but that's when you're doing a lot more of the advanced video editing. You know, if you're just going to drop in yourself recording and doing a couple other things, then a lot of times, yes, just one video line is going to be plenty. When you start bringing in text on top of things, or like arrows and stuff, then you want to have multiple lines. And then
Katie, go ahead.
Well,
I was going to mention green screen. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, go for it. You do the green screen because that's follows.
Katie, probably one of the most common things is green screen. Not that people are going to be doing this at their home, but if you do a green screen video, you have your background in one of the tracks, and then you put the video that you want superimposed over the background in the other track. And as long as we're talking about it, I will say this: if you want to get adventurous in the next month or two, I said green screen, but Wevideo lets you use any color. If you have any wall in your house that's a solid color, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be green. You could actually do a green screen video with this. Okay, go ahead, Raquel. Or
Sorry,
are you?
sorry. No, I had to unmute myself as I had to finish texting really quick, or not texting, typing in the chat. So
Mhm.
Eduardo made a comment about, did you clip part of the video or just the audio? And you did technically both of them.
Correct.
You split the video, and the audio was associated with the video. And so if you are recording and you have video and you delete it out, you are going to lose both the video and the audio. So I hope that makes sense,
Correct.
Eduardo. Um,
Um, Go ahead.
Marie asked, can you search for other pictures and videos? So up at the top there where that search for the canyon he was in, you can search for things in there, but if there are, things that are not in Wevideo, then you would have to do a search within just a normal Google tab and search for an image and save it that way, which I
Yeah.
believe we're going to be touching on in a little bit.
Hmm.
And then
So everything. Go ahead.
someone else asked about recording the video of ourselves, and he's going to touch on that in just a minute too.
Yeah. This is where I use stock media just so you could get the idea of dragging and dropping stuff into the timeline, rearranging the order, stretching out pictures, and snipping a video wherever you want to. All of you, if you're going to use Wevideo, you're going to use the My Media component. You're not going to use that stock media again, probably not. There are 3 ways here to create your own content. And first is import. If you have pictures, videos, or audio files somewhere on the computer, you can navigate to where it is or drag and drop in here. If you have stuff in your Google Drive, you can click on Google and it'll ask you which account and find whatever it is you have in your Google Drive. If you just go to Google in a web browser and find a picture that you want, save it to your laptop and then drag it in here. Okay. Um, Import, it means you already have the picture, the video file, or the audio file somewhere. Record, and I think this is probably going to be, if you do end up using Wevideo, this is what most of you are going to be using. When I click on record, you have your choice of 3 different sources. You can record your webcam. Raquel, did you happen to notice if people, is anybody aimed at the ceiling right now? Do I need to go over that? I'm going to go over that. The webcam is, you have 2 webcams actually built into your laptop. So when I choose webcam, here's a good example. This is my ceiling. Hi, you want to see my daughter? Oh, she just ran away. And so your laptop has 2 webcams, and the default here is the one, it's about an inch above your number 7 key. And like mine right now has a white light next to it because that's the one that's active. That's why you're looking at my ceiling. If I switch it to integrated camera, that's the selfie camera. Okay. Now I know bringing hover cams and Avers home have been a popular topic today. If you plug a hover cam in and you want to record with that, I am pretty sure you're going to see a third option in here, which will probably say something about hover cam. Okay. So if you choose to use record with a webcam, you're going to have to tell Wevideo which camera do you have. Just a lot of people don't realize you actually have 2 built into the laptop. Okay. Screen, which I think would be the most common option. Screen is just going to record what's on your screen. Some of you may have used Screencastify or Screencast-O-Matic. You're familiar with the idea of recording your screen. You can open a whiteboard and use your stylus and annotate over it and record it and talk about whatever you're doing on the whiteboard. You can pull up a worksheet or something and you can annotate over it and record the whole session. Anything that you can see on your screen, you can record it in Wevideo. Okay. Um, Webcam and screen, that's just a combination. It's a picture in picture. Your webcam picture will be a little tiny rectangle, and I think you can move it around. It'll be starting one of the corners while you're also recording whatever goes on the screen. Okay. I think screen is going to be the most popular. I'm going to choose that. And if you do have more than one microphone plugged in, and I think when you do a hover cam, you will have more than one, it probably will pick up the right one, but you really want to test anyway. So, and I have a second monitor connected to my laptop here, so I'm not going to record that one. This is screen one, the main screen that you guys are looking at. Click on share, and it's going to count down. And it is recording now, and I could be going over a worksheet, I could be talking about a picture on the screen, I could be doing whatever I want. And then when I'm done, actually this is worth mentioning because it confused the heck out of me. If you're doing this in a Google Hangout, these two messages look the same. If I stop sharing here, Raquel pointed this out, I think that was you. This is how I stop recording my screen in Wevideo. It says Wevideo right there. And this one is stop sharing the screen in the Hangout, which I don't want to do. That confused me yesterday. So there, I am done, however long, 30 seconds, whatever. I recorded that whole process. I can preview it here. You can see my mouse moving, and okay. If I like it, good. If I don't, I can record again. I will say this, if it's just a little bit you don't like, remember you can just use that video, put it in one of the tracks in your timeline, and you can snip out the part you don't like. I'm gonna go with what I got, click on save, and it is right here. And Wevideo needs a little time to process it. So I couldn't watch it right now. This is gonna go pretty quick though. I can, however, work with it. I can already drag it down into my timeline and continue putting more parts of my video together. This blue bar that's kind of scrolling, that tells me that Wevideo right now is manipulating the video. Okay. I'm not sure if it's previewable. Yeah, it just finished. If you try and preview it while it's not done, you get that message that was just on the screen for a second. Okay. That is record. I'm going to do one more button here, and then I think that'll be a good holding point for questions. Narrate, it's just your microphone. So like if I had pictures in my timeline and I wanted to do a voiceover, I would click on narrate, start recording, again, a countdown, and excuse me, I just recorded a cough. Even that though, I wouldn't even stop recording. I would just keep recording, finish it, and done. And audio files it puts up here, Friday, March 20th. I don't know why it's a day ahead, but this is the audio recording. You can tell it's an audio recording. They have the audio waves in it. Anyway, if this was a voiceover for a picture, I almost fell into it, Raquel. Little did I know that Wevideo figured I wanted to do a voiceover. So even though it's in my library up here, it puts it in a track that isn't even visible unless you scroll. It already put it in here. Okay. So I would move it up into an audio track. There's no difference between the audio and the voiceover track. And it's, what was it, 12 seconds long. So if I'm talking about this cactus picture, my picture is on the screen longer than I'm talking about it. So I would just readjust my picture to last as long as the voiceover. Okay. Um, we are going to hold there and see if there's any questions. We got 13 minutes. I'm going to show you real quick how to do transitions then and export your video so you can get an actual video file that you can send to students or colleagues. How are we doing on questions?
I wasn't sure about Jane's question about is the audio source the default?
So when you go to narrate, oh, actually, it knows what microphone. Just like I showed you how to switch cameras before, if you have the two in the laptop and the hover cam, narrate's going to ask you which microphone you want to use. Right now, I'm talking in a headset, so I have a microphone in there, but the laptop also has a headset. I guess until you know, it's trial and error the first time. If you plug in a headset, I think it'll automatically recognize the right audio source. But if not, choose one, record for 5 seconds, play it back, and if there's no sound, then you chose the wrong one, and do it again and choose a different one. Okay, does that make sense? Can I import a video purchased from Amazon? Okay, the short answer to your question is it depends on the format. Wevideo takes an awful lot of video formats. My guess is what you purchase commercially is not in a format that can be imported, probably. But the bigger question is, do you want to do that legally? And the answer is going to be no. There might be some cases where you can, but yep, Raquel, you are correct. Can you use this to do a voiceover for PowerPoints? If your PowerPoint is all slides and there's no video links in the slide, what I would do, I would export. Well, what I would do is I wouldn't use PowerPoint. But if you're stuck on PowerPoint, I would export each slide as, I think it exports as JPEGs. I haven't used PowerPoint in years. If you can export each slide as a JPEG, and then I'm talking to Alona here, put those JPEGs in your video track. They're just pictures. And then do what I showed before. Do your voiceover for a picture. It'll last as long as you want to talk about that picture, and then stretch the picture out to match how long you talked. Okay.
And that actually matches up with Ruth's comment as well. If your voiceover isn't exactly in the right spot, that's totally fine because you can, unless it's a video, if it's a voiceover of a picture, then you can adjust the length of your picture to match your playback and the length of it. However, if it is a video, then if you're not hearing it right away, then I would just, I mean, you would have to drop it into the video, see if you can get it to align, and then either delete it and re-record or see if you can adjust it to make it work.
Yes, videos, you can make them shorter by cutting out parts of the video, but you can't make it longer than the way it was recorded. I would just see how long the video clip is, and then I would have a stopwatch or a timer on your laptop, and I would just try to talk for about as long as the video lasts. Okay. Can you do a screenshot of your Google Slides and put them? Yes, you can, but I think you're going to get a better quality, just like with PowerPoint. Google Slides has I think it has an export as J. I know you can export it as pictures. I'm not quite sure what word they use. I would do it that way, Chris. I wouldn't take a screenshot. Raquel, you want to answer Jane's question? I am going to get to real quick transitions.
Yeah.
And then we got to show you how to finish a project. We're down to 9 minutes here. So transitions are, we did stock media, which you'll probably never come back to again. My media is where your components are stored. Raquel was talking about text before. You can do titles and what's it called, captions and stuff like that. I think audio is just some canned music that you can use without worrying about copyright. Um, Transitions, when you click on transitions, there's all different kinds. And as easy it is as it is to put a picture or a video in, it's just as easy with a transition. So for example, if I want to transition between my two first and second picture, I find one I like and I drag it down in between them. And I know it's really hard to see, but there is a tiny little transition in there. And just to show you what it looks like, I take my play bar and I move it to the end of, near the end of the first picture, because I don't want to sit through 20 seconds of that picture. And I click play. And I don't know if you saw that, but that was, that was the curtain transition. You can do any kind, whatever transitions you want. And you can't, it's just human nature to want to check it out once you put it in there. But okay. That's how easy transitions are. Again, there is more, like a lot more. Um, if I click on one of these pictures, just so you know it's there, I double clicked on one of the pictures. You can, we don't have time to go into this, but you can zoom and rotate and all that stuff. Animate. You can adjust the color brightness of picture. Um, this icon right here, if you get adventurous down the road, this is color keying. If you have a solid wall in your house, you could put you or your kids or somebody in front of it, and then, like, let's say I want to do a green screen, although it's not green, I would click on the eyedropper, click on the part of the background which would be your blank wall, and I clicked on a pink spot. I'm not going to get into the whole green screen. I will say this: if you Google Wevideo green screen, there is a very short. Wevideo has a good archive of videos that explain how to do things, and green screen is one of the most popular ones. Cancel. So now the end. You've got your components, your audio, video, pictures, everything in the order that you like. Everything looks good. You've snipped the coughing fits out of your videos. You've done the preview. It's all good. Okay. Then the next part is top right corner is a finish button. I click on that. Give it a title. I don't know if I use that one or not. Click on set. So there's a lot going on here. Green Bay Schools pays for this subscription. That gives us the right to export in HD. This is your standard definition and high definition. If for some reason you're concerned about student bandwidth or bandwidth to whoever your audience is, you might want to stick with standard definition. But if it's not a concern, we're paying for it, so why not use it? If you had just done a whole bunch of audio files, like you want to do a podcast of some sort, at this point, you would just choose audio only. You can, hopefully, two things down here. You can save it directly to your Google Drive, and it will ask you probably for access to your drive. If you don't do this, I think even if you do this, you'll get a video, an email from Wevideo saying, hey, your movie is ready, here it is. And underneath it, the default is marked as public. I would just automatically turn that as private. So if you don't do the Google thing, or if you don't do another method in a minute when your video is ready and download it, your video is resting, your final product is resting on the servers at Wevideo. I like to own my video files. So what I would do is either use the Google option, or when Wevideo tells you your video is done, I would download it. You make your choice here and click on export. And this screen is saying, yep, we got it. This is a very short video, so it's not going to take very long. If you record an hour-long video, this takes a long time. But your part of this process is all done. You can close this tab. You can walk away. Wevideo doesn't need you anymore. And if you've got a long video, you're going to want to do that. The time here is climbing. I'm wondering if they're having a lot of usage right now too. Then when it's done, I don't want to wait for 2 minutes. When it's done, you'll get an email, and if you chose the Google Drive option, you'll also have a Wevideo folder placed in your drive. You don't have to do this. And if you chose the Wevideo option, it will, I believe, show up in there. Okay, now, if you can't find it in your Google Drive and you didn't get your email, or you deleted it, or you did it a week ago and you forgot, you can always go into Wevideo and go to exports. Okay, and mine is, my current one I don't think is in there yet because it's still being worked on. Oh, I just got an email. Might be this one. I shouldn't have chosen the same picture. Anyway, I right click on it and I see the option to download. And it gives the standard, where do you want to save it window? Save it. And here it is right here. If you didn't choose the Google Drive option on that previous screen, you have the video file now right here. You can upload it to your Google Drive and mark the sharing and share it by link with whoever your audience is. Okay. I know I've been talking a lot, and this is an awful lot of information. We are at 7:29. How are we doing on questions? Elona, the Wevideo link. I think you mean the directions. Let me put that in there real quick. There you go. No, or not.
I think it went. I think you just had to scroll down.
Oh yeah.
And remember, a lot of times, if you've already created your account, you don't need the paid directions anymore. Just go directly to Wevideo.
Yeah. Raquel, stay live, please. Shayna asks a question that public-private switch doesn't work. And after our afternoon session, I can't remember who I was working with, Shane from East. He couldn't either. His was stuck on public. Have you seen that before?
No, because I've always been able to, so when I go to finish it, I can just click right on the, I don't know, that little slider button. I've always been able to untoggle it when I've noticed it recently. So I'm not sure why it wouldn't.
Shayna, what the person I worked with this afternoon, Shane, he had like 14,000 tabs open and he hadn't restarted his computer in a long time. And I suggested he do that and then go back into Wevideo and try it with a very quick video. He said he was going to email me if it didn't work, and he hasn't emailed me yet. So I guess that's the first thing I would do. I would also say, whoever your integrator is, in whatever building you're in, if you email with them, they would probably be willing to set up a hangout just between the two of you and work through that together.
My understanding of that private option versus the public option is that if you don't export the video to anything else and you only want to keep it in Wevideo and you share the link, so if I create it and I make it private and then I try to share the specific Wevideo link as opposed to a Google Drive link, Tom would not be able to view it. So if he tried to share, actually right from that exports part that you were just in, so if he tried to share from that spot, he would not be able to, he wouldn't be able to see it. What I haven't been able to find out is if it's public, could someone else just search for it? Yeah, so just like you're doing right there, Tom, that's exactly what works for me, and so I'm not sure why it doesn't for others.
Yeah, but I don't have it shared in any other source. I don't know.
But I've had it linked to Google Drive for a destination. I've also been
Oh,
able to mark that video as public and private.
okay.
But so like the one thing I was trying to find out is if it is public, can people just search for it on the
How
Wevideo?
public is it?
Yeah, that I don't know yet.
If that does concern you, I am pretty sure you can go into your exports, and I'm pretty sure I don't need these anymore. If I just right click on it and delete it, um, I'm pretty sure it's deleting it from their servers also. Okay, so if you're really concerned about that, I would download it to your computer and put it in your own Google Drive, and then I would go into your exports and delete it.
Okay, there was a question that I thought would just be easier to talk about on here or like out loud as opposed to typing. So Jacqueline asked about Wevideo or Edpuzzle, what is better to use? And I think that also goes along with someone else asking about using Hangouts or using Wevideo. And I did make the one comment that this recording option within Google Meet is only going to be available through the summer. Google has opened it up in response to the health crisis that we are dealing with. And so that will be a feature that will be going away in time because we are not paying for that moving forward. We already pay for Wevideo. And so for me personally, I use Wevideo simply because I like to edit my stuff, and I end up doing a lot of editing. If you are not doing a lot of editing, it's just a matter of figuring out what is feasible for you, what's the easiest thing for you to use. We're not expecting, all these tons of edited videos, and making you learn a ton of brand new things. We're just trying to remind you of the options that we have. So you could do that in Hangouts, you could do it in Screencastify, you can do it here in Wevideo. A big difference with Edpuzzle though is you're not, and I've only done a little bit with Edpuzzle recently. So Edpuzzle does give you the option to add questions that the kids can click on and answer, and pulling in other videos as well. So yes, in Edpuzzle you do, Shayna, have those gradings and quiz portions. However, you don't have that option here in Wevideo. I hope that answered some of the questions.
Okay. I will hang around, Raquel. I'm not sure if you are or not. If we are done, I will say this, please do two things. Please clock out, as well as if you haven't signed that attendance sheet, I'm guessing Raquel in the background has reconciled the attendance sheet perfectly. Oh, maybe not. Are you slipping, Raquel? We've got, oh, we're down. Just make sure before you leave, you clock out and you go into the attendance sheet and make sure your name's in there. And if you want to hang around and ask questions, you're welcome to.
I think we got most. I thought I had all of them in there. There was one person that had popped in at a middle point that I'm not sure if I caught him, but one of those early on, I had them all. Do you want me to lock it down?
Do I want you to what?
Do you want me to stop the editing?
Sure.
We got a couple people in there finishing things.
That Alyssa, that's our number one goal, is to make people feel humble. Marie, I didn't clock in. Can I do it? And I think you can manage your time clock. Yes, Amy jumped on that.
Manage
Yep.
your time sheet. Yeah. Which is good
We're
because
dropping. We're at 39.
slowly.
Nobody ever wants to hang around and ask questions. That's not true. Oh, I gotta stop the. I'm gonna stop the recording now because if I don't, I
Oh,
won't
good
forget
job
it.
remembering. Oh yeah, Emily, I am so sorry. I have that down